One appreciates his effort and determination to rid the country of corruption.
Former head of state General Yakubu Gowon endorses anti-corruption posture of the federal government.
The government is determined to ensure that the safety and security of every single Nigerian is a priority.
Fight against terrorism receives a boost as the federal government launches revised national counter-terrorism strategy. Plus, U.S. Secretary of State in Nigeria pledges U.S. support for Buhari administration in the fight against Boko Haram. Welcome to NTA Network News. I am Muhammad Kuda Abubakar. Former head of state General Yakubu Gowon has thrown his weight behind the ongoing onslaught against corruption by the Buhari administration, describing it as a national salvation. General Gowon, who stated this while speaking to newsmen after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, also applauded government's efforts at addressing the problems of security and the economy.
General Yakubu Gowon, who is visiting President Muhammadu Buhari for the first time since October last year, arrived at the State House at about 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon.
I was expecting you there. Thank you, Mr. President. How are you? Nice to see you. You're looking well.
The closed-door meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the former head of state, which lasted about 1 hour, centered on the general affairs of the country and the best way forward. General Gowon told newsmen after the meeting that President Muhammadu Buhari is doing his best for Nigeria under the present circumstances.
One appreciates his effort and determination to rid the country of corruption, which certainly had been one of the problems that has created serious setback to the country, both nationally and internationally.
The former head of state, who also acknowledged the hardship being faced by Nigerians, expressed confidence in the ability of the federal government to restore smiles on their faces.
People want to see that they have money, but please remember, we used to get petroleum at what price? Over $150 per barrel. Am I right? And what is it today? It's just around 30s, isn't it? And the amount of crude oil that we used to produce, over 2 million, 2.5. Now, in fact, it's down to under 1 million because of the problem we've been having, blowing up of all these areas, etc. So yes, we have problem, and there isn't enough money to be able to go around. But I'm sure with the effort the government is making, all will be well soon.
On the plight of the missing Chibok schoolgirls, General Gowon pleaded for understanding, saying the government is doing everything within its power towards rescuing and reuniting them with their families.
The government is certainly determined to make sure that these girls are brought back home as soon as possible, as long as certain credibility can be established. We do not yet know exactly where they are, but all effort engaging the international media and international sources so that this matter can be dealt with.
The former head of state is proceeding on holidays to the United Kingdom and the United States, during which his project, the Nigeria Praise Program, will be held. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still at the State House, President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged that the anti-corruption crusade in the country will be deepened and institutionalized to last beyond the life of the current administration. Receiving American Secretary of State Mr. John Kerry in the State House, Abuja, this evening, President Buhari appreciated the intervention of the United States before the 2015 polls when it demanded for free and fair elections in Nigeria. President Buhari noted that America did not do it because of what it stands to benefit from Nigeria, but for the Nigerian people. On the Boko Haram insurgency, President Buhari commended the U.S. for both what he described as hard and soft military assistance, saying the training and intelligence that Nigeria could not muster it received. He said training has made Boko Haram less a threat to Nigeria and the Lake Chad Basin region. President Buhari said though militancy in the Niger Delta has impacted negatively on the economy and affected the positive intentions of international and local investors, the federal government has showing restraint not to use real force except when constrained to do so. Mr. Kerry commended the courage of President Muhammadu Buhari in fighting corruption, pledging the United States' readiness to assist in tackling the humanitarian challenges in the Northeast geopolitical zone. Meanwhile, the United States Secretary of State, John Kerry, has again expressed the commitment of America and other world powers to collaborate with Nigeria in checking the violent extremism of Boko Haram, which he said is destroying various groups in the society. Mr. Kerry stated this when he paid a visit to the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, in Sokoto. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu has the report.
The U.S. Secretary of State attributed the root causes of violent extremism, especially in African countries, to lack of trust between the government and the governed, poverty and corruption. He emphasized the need for government at all levels to collaborate with community leaders and faith-based organizations in the fight against the scourge. Mr. Kerry also commended President Buhari for the commitment in the fight against corruption and Boko Haram extremism.
Extremism cannot be defeated through repression or just creating fear. Fear instilled through repression invites not confidence, it invites contempt. It creates terrorists. Trust creates citizens.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, thanked Mr. Kerry for the solidarity visit and said corruption and Boko Haram extremism have been reduced to the barest minimum by President Muhammadu Buhari.
I believe this will further strengthen our resolve at all levels, from Mr. President down to the last administrator in this country.
The visit by the American Secretary of State is part of a collaborative effort by the American government to reduce to the minimum terrorism in Nigeria. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
The federal government has launched a revised edition of the National Counterterrorism Strategy. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that President Muhammadu Buhari at the launch reiterated his commitment in the fight against terrorism, stating that terrorism is an act against humanity and the tenets of unity which Nigeria upholds.
The president, who was represented by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, further mentioned that terrorism cannot be justified with race, religion, or political affinities, that the indiscriminate killings of people and the incessant destruction of properties will never be excused under his government. He further enjoined Nigerians to utilize the reviewed National Counterterrorism Strategy for the fervent and effective fight against terrorism in the country for peace and security.
The government is determined to ensure that the safety and security of every single Nigerian is a priority. This is why I have repeatedly ordered our law enforcement agents to ensure that perpetrators of violence in any shape or form are arrested and made to face the law. The activities of armed herdsmen and host farmers, kidnappers, and criminal militants all threaten our peace and security and the stability of our nation. We will not allow anyone, under any guise, whether it is politics, culture, or religion, to violate the physical person, lives, property of property of other citizens. This is the oath to which I swore, and I will uphold it at all costs.
The National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mungunu, retired, who commended the president for his unwavering commitment to ending terrorism in the country, says his office will ensure synergy amongst stakeholders as they provide a monitoring and evaluation framework to appraise the process.
We have worked assiduously with all stakeholders to re-articulate the roles of ministries, departments, and agencies, and civil society.
The strategy forms the basis for a concrete plan of actions based on the 5 streams to forestall conditions conducive to the spread of terrorism by preventing people becoming terrorists or supporting terrorism.
The moment we have the commitment and the political will to key in to the strategy, I think it will succeed because we represent the population areas of Nigeria.
As we have been told here by the Vice President, keeping Nigeria safe is a task that must be done by every one of us. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NT News.
The Nigerian Air Force recorded a major success in the ongoing counter-insurgency operations during an air attack that killed about 300 Boko Haram terrorists. A statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Ayodele Famuyiwa, announced that series of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance mission corroborated with human intelligence led to the identification of their location between Malam Fatori and Kargarawa, where their commanders were gathered at night for meeting and met their death. The Bangladeshi armed forces have commended the success of the Nigerian army in overcoming insurgency. Leader of the Bangladeshi Armed Forces delegation, Rear Admiral Anwarul Islam, who led members of the Bangladeshi National Defense College on geostrategic tour of Nigeria, stated this while exchanging views with Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Gabriel Olonisaki, in Abuja. Rear Admiral Anwarul Islam noted that the Nigerian armed forces are well known for their contributions to peace support operations worldwide. He solicited cordial military bilateral relations with the Nigerian armed forces. The Chief of Defense Staff, who was represented by the Chief of Policy and Plans, Defense Headquarters, Air Vice Marshal Bashir, assured the delegation of the Nigerian Armed Forces' readiness to collaborate with Bangladesh and other willing nations in the global war against terrorism. Still on the armed forces, the Nigerian Army has maintained that discipline, regimentation, and professionalism is key to attaining a professionally responsive army. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, identified these components as pivotal towards achieving his vision of repositioning the Nigerian Army and the 2016 Regimental Sergeants Major Convention in Abuja. Olajide Bello has details.
The Nigerian Army's engagement in internal security, counter-terrorism as well as counter-insurgency operations at various strata within the country has tasked the capacity and resilience of the military. Against this background, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, says to correct some operational flaws in military operations, there is the need for training and retraining of its personnel.
Discipline, regimentation, and professionalism. I am convinced that the attainment of these three focal points will redirect the Nigerian Army towards a more responsive.
Lieutenant General Buratai added that troops' welfare will continue to receive adequate attention, reiterating President Muhammadu Buhari's continued support for the Nigerian Army in its resolve at restoring peace in the Northeast. Director General, Nigerian Army Resource Center, Major General Johnny Hamakim, noted that the convention focuses on regimentation as the bedrock of military discipline and professional responsiveness.
Competence, discipline, and regimentation in units and formations within the Nigerian Army will be enhanced among troops.
In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTN.
Governor Ibikunle Amusu of Ogun State has stressed the need to strengthen Nigeria's institutions as a better way of engendering national growth, security, and reduce regional agitations. This was in a paper he presented before the participants of the Executive Intelligence Management Course 9 of the Institute for Security Studies, Abuja. Abdullah Garba Ben Nkudu has the story.
The lecture had a theme, Institutional Weaknesses and Challenges of Development. Governor Ibikunle Amosu hinged good governance to effective institutions around free judiciary, vibrant legislature and executive. Taking a cue from other countries like China, Singapore and India, the governor said they achieved developed economies because of strengthened institutions and developed infrastructure which are catalysts for growth.
For any nation to grow, institution must be strengthened as against strengthening individual. Because when institution is strengthened, people will know that there will be one law for everybody. It is not that there will be this law for the rich and another law for the poor. Indeed, when institutions are strengthened, corruption will be non-existent.
Citing Ogun State example, Governor Amosun said what they call Ogun Standard has set a benchmark in achieving social security and in maximizing agricultural value chain. The course participants are drawn from various security operatives to attain certain managerial skills of their career. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Birnunkudu, NTA News.
The special advisor to the president on social investment, Mariam Uwais, says the federal government's special intervention project has kicked off with 20 billion naira committed so far. She announced this while briefing the House of Representatives Joint Committee on Legislative Budget, Research and Poverty Alleviation. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko has details.
500 billion naira was earmarked as social intervention fund in the 2016 budget. 4 months after the passage of the budget, the House of Representatives sought to know the status of the program. The special advisor to the president on social intervention, Mariam Uwais, explained that the program, which seeks to provide jobs for 500,000 unemployed graduates and 100,000 trainees, has received application from 774 local governments in the country. She noted that the federal government is taking the program seriously as measures have been put in place to check abuse, especially the homegrown school feeding and cash transfers program.
We are planning to work in every community, and we are hoping that he will monitor and see that we're working in that community. We're asking to have community-based method, and you understand that.
Members urged the federal government to establish independent coordinating offices in all the states. They also harped on the need to carry out extensive awareness and to extend the closing date of the application portal for more enrollment.
How to coordinate this? That is why we are raising these issues here. The structure you are providing here should be different from the structure there so that there will be strong oversight.
The program, expected to last for 2 years, is targeted at reducing poverty and enhancing financial inclusion. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The federal government says it will continue to deploy information communication technology to drive the Nigerian projects to an enviable height. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, stated this at the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the federal government and Huawei Technology, a Chinese company in Nigeria. Dele Atumbi has the report.
The memorandum of understanding between the federal government and Huawei Technology is to advance the course of information communications technology knowledge transfer between Nigeria and China. To this end, in the next few weeks, a group of young, talented Nigerians who are professionals in ICT and employees of the federal government will be in China for a 2-week training program at no cost to the government. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, acknowledged the deployment of ICT skills as a major contributor to the successes the federal government recorded in its fight against corruption, insecurity, and insurgency.
The government is very, very keen in developing ICT skills and expertise among its workers and indeed among the citizenry at large.
The head of the Chinese mission to Nigeria, Qin Jian, and the managing director of Huawei Technology, Li Teng, said the program seeks to develop local ICT talents, promotes a greater understanding in the telecommunications sector, and encourages regional building and participation in digital community.
This is the first time we have organized Nigerian officials to take part in this program.
The program is to further strengthen the diplomatic ties between Nigeria and China. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, on his 60th birthday. A statement by the Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to the President, Femi Adesina, affirms that as President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, the Sultan of Sokoto has demonstrated uncommon leadership style, patriotism, and wisdom in his consistent advocacy for security, peace, and unity of Nigeria. The statement further stated that the wise counsels of the Royal Father on issues of good governance, girl-child education, infant and child mortality has enriched his administration efforts to improve livelihood in Nigeria. You can watch this news live on online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Up ahead, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board promises smooth 2016 admissions. Don't go away.
Successful political change must begin to improve people's daily lives. That is the democracy dividend Nigerians have waited for. But no one should expect that all the damage done over a generation can be undone in a year. Real change demands perseverance and patience. It demands openness to honorable compromise and cooperation. It demands support on a constant basis from the people of Nigeria and from your friends abroad. That does not mean being patient with corruption or injustice, but to give up hope because change comes slowly would only be to hand a victory to those who do not want to change at all. Remember something we Americans have learned in over 224 years of experience with democracy. It is always and everywhere a work in progress.
Chilling alone isn't such a bad idea, but imagine how much fun you'll have when you call your peeps across all networks for only 11 kobo per second. Or even better, you could turn up the place with 1 gigabyte for just 500 naira to blaze tracks on tracks on tracks with your squad. And that ain't nothing. With 50 naira only for 1.5 gigabyte, you can share the dopest flicks with your day ones. And keep the selfies trending all week long. Still wondering why the flying speeds are on fleek on Airtel Smart Drive? Dial star 312 hash to find out.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
A hectic lifestyle or overeating can cause a burning pain in your chest. That's heartburn. Take Gaviscon. 1 dose relieves in 3 minutes to soothe the pain of heartburn. It goes straight to the source to work for hours, providing long-lasting relief.
That's why I recommend Gaviscon.
I recommend Gaviscon. Gaviscon, fast relief you can actually feel.
If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
You get 3 kinds of moms. The paranoid mom, the cautious mom, and the Dettol mom. She only trusts Dettol antiseptic liquid to protect her family from up to 100 illness-causing germs, and it's recommended for cuts and scrapes. Which is why you can worry less and love more. Don't just be any mom, be a Dettol mom.
It's truck month at Ford, and we've got a Ranger just for you, Vincent. Here's the Workhorse 2.5 petrol single cab with free Ford Protect, a 4-year, 120,000-kilometer service plan. Or the 2.5 petrol-based double cab with 800mm water wading capability, available in manual transmission and with free Ford Protect. So while stocks last, visit Koscharis Motors today. Because, wait for it, thanks Vincent, we've got a tough Ford Ranger just for you.
Bayes University Abuja offers world-class education, uninterrupted academic session, and promising degrees for a sustainable job. Bayes University Abuja is affordable and delivers quality with experienced international staff, superb facilities, overseas external examiners, and a serene academic atmosphere. We offer quality and affordable education, and students are within easy reach of their parents here at Bayes University Abuja. So learn to live at Bayes University for a brighter future. For more information, visit our website at www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng or call 081 3376 9657 or 081 3376 9658. Bayes University Abuja. Learn to live.
Do you know that 2.5 million children in Nigeria are malnourished, and about 500,000 are likely to die yearly if nothing is done. To combat this public health emergency, Her Excellency Aisha Muhammad Buhari initiated Get Involved, a component of a Future Assured project to fight malnutrition in children, especially those at the internally displaced people's camp. The launch of the Get Involved project is an opportunity for all well-meaning Nigerians from all walks of life to lend their support to this noble cause. The pre-launch of Get Involved project is from 29th August to 2nd September 2016. Time 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Venue International Conference Center, Abuja. Launching holds on Saturday, 3rd of September 2016. Time 10 a.m. Venue International Conference Center, Abuja. For more details, email programs@futureassured.org.ng. Get involved and save the life of a Nigerian child today.
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture and the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, cordially invite all stakeholders to the Commission's second NBC Annual Lecture. Theme: Broadcasting, Democracy and the Challenge of the New Nigeria. Guest speaker, Professor Tahiru Jega, former Chairman INEC. Host, Ishak Modibo Kau, Director General NBC. Date: Wednesday, August 24th, 2016. Time: 10 a.m. Venue: Congress Hall, Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
If we have lost the opportunity of 15 years, let us no longer lose any opportunity for the future. Our alternative is agriculture immediately and solid minerals.
We should be appreciative of the president who has again diverted attention to this issue of agriculture.
The present administration is determined to go back to planning, identify priorities beforehand. When money comes, it is applied to that purpose. You can see the results.
We are determined to rehabilitate our country, especially for our children and our grandchildren.
You're still on to NTA Network News. As we told you earlier, President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged that the anti-corruption crusade in the country will be deepened and institutionalized to last beyond the life of the current administration. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu is now here with the report.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who led a high-powered Nigerian delegation to a closed-door meeting with the United States Secretary of State, Mr. John Kerry, promised to ensure that anyone who runs foul of the law is prosecuted, no matter his status in the society. The federal government, however, said will be just, fair, and act according to the rule of law. As the president puts it, anyone perceived corrupt is innocent until we can prove it. His administration, he explained, will work very hard to establish documentation for successful prosecution of all those who abuse trust. President Muhammadu Buhari appreciated the intervention of the United States in deepening democracy in Nigeria, as well as the added confidence given to the nation's military in the fight against terrorism and insurgency through training, intelligence support, and the provision of hard and software equipment. On the militancy in the Niger Delta, the president said the government is showing restraint not to use real force except where necessary, but lamented its negative impact on the economy. Nigeria, he went on, has learned a lesson from years of overdependence on oil and is now focused on diversifying the economy. The United States Secretary of State, Mr. John Kerry, commended the courage of President Muhammadu Buhari in the fight against corruption, which he said creates a ready-made playing field for the recruitment of extremists. He promised that the United States government will support Nigeria in whatever way it can towards achieving the desired objective. Mr. Kerry also said the United States will mobilize the United Kingdom, France, and other countries towards assisting Nigeria in tackling the humanitarian challenges in the Northeast. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still at the State House, issues relating to security, economy, well-being and stability of Nigeria took center stage as the United States Secretary of State, John Kerry, held a strategic meeting with some governors of the northern states. Adamu Sambo is here again with the report.
At the closed-door meeting held at the instance of the United States, the Secretary of State John Kerry and the northern governors deliberated extensively on the security and socio-economic challenges confronting the region. Consequently, deep commitments were made on areas of collaboration, cooperation and support towards addressing them for enhanced stability, welfare and well-being of the people. At a news briefing shortly after, Chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and Governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, described the meeting as reassuring and fruitful.
They have shown a deep commitment to the Nigerian nation. They have shown the willingness, the zeal, the passion and the aggression to support us. But fundamentally, we made him to realize that underneath the mayhem and nihilism of Boko Haram lies the real cause, which is extreme poverty. And we called on him to come in.
There are commitments, especially on education, with particular emphasis on girl child education. There is commitment on healthcare and renewable energy.
So it's important we know that beyond just a talk show, this is an activity that is intended to see improved delivery of goods and services to our people.
If you fix the northern part of Nigeria, you fix Nigeria. But bottom line, it was at the instance of the Secretary of State of the United States of America.
Meanwhile, the governor of Borno State has reassured Nigerians that with the unprecedented support and assistance by the Buhari administration in the reconstruction and rehabilitation of the Northeast, IDP camps might be non-existent by the end of May next year.
Give us that benefit of the doubt. By May 29th next year, you will hear very little about IDP. We'll still adhere with the Kampala Convention. We'll not compel anyone to go back to his or her community. But we know our people. They carry their poverty with dignity.
This is not the first time the United States government is engaging the Northern Governors Forum on the situation in the region. A similar meeting was held in the United States in 2014. From the State House, Adamu Sambo.
That was Adamu Sambo reporting from the State House. The federal government has taken steps to curtail perennial road crashes in Oyo-Ogbomosho exits of the Ilorin-Ibadan Expressway. This is with the resumption of construction work on the section of the dual carriageway. Kemi Akiwande has this update.
The 45-kilometer section of the Ibadan-Ilorin Expressway has suffered setback that trailed unfulfilled promises by successive administrations since 1979. It has been described over time as strategic, serving as a link between southern and northern parts of the country.
Well, there is no point you finish a road after some years the road is bad again. What we want is have a good road from Kano or from Lagos to Ibadan, Ibadan to Oyo, Oyo to Ogomosho.
The Oyo-Ogomosho road that was once a dead trap will not be a dead trap for much longer. By the special grace of God, this road will be completed soon.
Ministers of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who sent in representatives, also expressed determination of the present administration to put an end to accidents peculiar with the road over the years. Oyo State Governor Senator Abiola Jimobi flagged off the 6 billion naira project, assuring the people that the completion of the road would be a promise kept and solicited continued support of the people. From Ogbomosho, Kemi Akiwande, NTA News.
The federal government says it will sustain partnership with multinational and development agencies towards delivering on the power needs of Nigeria. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, gave the assurance while commissioning the Phase 1 of the Clean Energy Solar Electricity Generating System at the Lower Osuma Dam Water Treatment Plant in Abuja. Omine Oden reports.
The project, funded by Japan International Cooperation Agency, is on an installed capacity of 1.2 megawatts to supplement electricity supply at the Federal Capital Territory Water Board Treatment Plant. The expected value from the project is a total of 1,496 megawatts annually, 741.9 tons reduction in carbon dioxide annually and 31.5 million naira to be saved annually in payment of electricity bills by the FCT Water Board.
There's a lot of work that have gone on between last year and now to put on the photovoltaic panels. We hope that some of these will ultimately be assembled in Nigeria so that we don't import them anymore.
While assuring that there will be continuity of the projects initiated by past administrations, the minister assured that there will be no going back on incremental power plan to steady supply with an ultimate uninterrupted power supply in Nigeria. For the Japanese International Cooperation Agency and the Japanese government, inclusive growth through power generation as well as collaboration with Nigeria in the area of climate change remains a priority.
Improving core infrastructure is one of the priority areas of JICA programs in Nigeria.
This project doesn't require maintenance. This is a PV panel. Right? The setup cost may be huge, but over a period of 5, thereabout break-even years, it pays for itself.
The 1.2 megawatt solar power plant for now is the largest grid-connected solar system in Nigeria. Ominiodan, NT News.
With the expiration of the agreement between the federal government and the Manitoba contract to manage the transmission company of Nigeria, the new indigenous management team, headed by Abubakar Atiku, has come up with a 5-year master plan to increase power supply to 11,500 megawatts by the year 2019. The managing director, TCN Abubakar Atiku, stated this in Abuja. Mia Ogedi has the report.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, is the only surviving child of its parents, as it were, after the privatization of all the distribution and generation companies. And to live up to its responsibility, the Abubakar Atiku-led new management team has revealed a clear-cut master plan. First is to increase power supply to 11,500 megawatts in 2019 with a financial requirement of $7.5 billion US. For the managing director and his team, despite the end of Manitoba contracts, financial assistance from foreign bodies will keep on flowing into the country, and all contracts approved by the previous management team still stand.
TCN is focused on ensuring that there is no stranded power in the generating stations and the grid stability is guaranteed without system collapse.
To ensure efficiency, incremental and stable power supply, 2 new entities have been created. They are the Transmission Service Provider, TSP, and the Independent System Operators, ISO.
TSP is to focus on the expansion, upgrade and maintenance of TCN transmission assets. ISO will strive to provide the interface between the power generators and distributors.
From August, when this new team came on board, the Okene transmission line has come alive, and the second 330 kV line from Shirodo to Katampe has been restored. Mia Ogidi, NT News.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, says the 2016 admissions policy will be hitch-free without any written post-UTME test. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede announced this in Kano at the opening of the board's first technical committee meeting for 2016 admissions. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
The confusions that trailed the conduct of the 2016 admissions processes and the bodies responsible for conducting the exercise prompted the meeting. From now onwards, university senates and academic board of tertiary institutions are to be responsible for admissions. It is against this backdrop that Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board organized the first technical meeting so as to provide lasting solutions and avoid putting burden on students who yearn for higher education.
I assure you all that the hours of fellowship which my predecessors have extended to the institution will be strengthened for the advancement of us who will not do so.
The controversies and confusion that trailed the admission exercise this year could not have happened at a worse time for Bayero University, Kano.
Kano State Governor, represented by his deputy, Professor Hafiz Abubakar, expressed gratitude to JAMB for choosing Kano.
We are trying our best under these difficult economic circumstances to establish more public-owned CBT centers in the state,
particularly to address the serious gaps in ICT infrastructure around the state.
It is expected that the admissions exercise will be concluded before the deadline of 30th November 2016. From Kano, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
The federal government has dissociated itself from the activities of Osmania Global Agency and Osmania Consultant, claiming to be admission agents in Nigeria. A statement by the Director and National Press Center, Federal Ministry of Information, announced that the agencies has been taking advantage of Nigerian students seeking admissions into universities in China, which are either not accredited, non-existent, and do not teach in English. Members of the public are hereby notified of the Osmania Global Agency and Osmania Consultants' fraudulent activities and warned to avoid falling victims of their extortionist tendencies. The Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria has been commended. Let's hear that and more from Jennifer Igwe in Lagos. Jennifer, over to you.
Thank you, Kudu. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has described the broadcast media as an indispensable agent of change for Nigeria's socio-economic development and prosperity. This was contained in a message to the 15th Annual General Meeting and 65th General Assembly of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria in Lagos. Amechi Pius has details.
The Minister of Information and Culture was represented at the forum by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mrs. Ayotunde Adesuba. While acknowledging the immense contributions of the broadcast industry to national development, he said government will continue to complement efforts of practitioners, but urged them to continue to develop programs and reports to promote unity and cohesion, premised on tolerance and respect for Nigeria's ethnic diversity.
This administration relies on you to go the extra mile to ensure that you are responsive to the needs of government and stakeholders alike. The administration on its part is poised to address the issues confronting the broadcast industry, such as the power requirements, as well as rehabilitating and modernizing the equipment in our broadcast institutions to enable them achieve their vision, mission, and mandates.
Chairman of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria and Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, highlighted some of the achievements of the organization to include payment of copyright and amendment of the organization's constitution.
We have also helped people and organizations set agenda which they have realized using our platforms. Have we been able to realize our goals? Have we taken charge of our destiny? Have we realized our own set agenda? We need to address these issues as a means of strengthening our organization.
The Assembly examined digital broadcasting as a platform for social cohesion and economic development. There were goodwill messages from the Governor of Lagos State and the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission. The Chairman of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, was formally decorated with insignia of office to preside over the affairs of the organization till the end of December 2016. In Lagos, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
One of Nigeria's pioneer telecommunication company, Intercellular Nigeria, says it is back and ready to expand broadband service in Nigeria through its new mobile digital technology. This was disclosed at the media launch of the company's new market identity, Interc Network in Lagos. Joyken Abapoya has details.
If you were a teenager or an adult in Nigeria in the late 90s and early 2000s, then you will remember Intercellular, the wireless network that operated Code Division Multiple Access, CDMA. Intercellular is back as Interc Network and has swapped the CDMA with a 4 gig long-term evolution LTE network. Chief Executive Officer Interc, Emad Sukar, says the company has adopted the most advanced communications technologies to provide subscribers with higher network quality, speed, and affordable data. He says the network can be accessed through router, MiFi, and mobile phones.
We're here to confirm our commitment to all the Nigerians
for providing a best quality network. Everyone knows that Intercellular was the best quality service in the market. We'll continue and enhance on this.
Commercial Director, Intercy Network, Sarah Aga, says with interconnectivity in mind, the company has come up with applications that will ensure easy recharge and data balance check, easy registration, multiple connection, and efficient customer service.
We're relaunching a brand that we believe that consumers will love to interact with. We've come up with a message that Nigerians will believe in and they will love. And then we've also, given them several platforms to interconnect with things that really, really matter.
The company, according to its management, is working towards unveiling a nationwide network. But for now, Intercy Network is functional in Abuja, Kaduna, and Port Harcourt. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakpoya, NTA News.
If you're just joining us, you're watching the NTA Network News from the Lagos Network Center. We have more reports ahead on the news with Kudu in Abuja after this timeout. Stay tuned.
A famous boxer once said, "The fight is won long before you step into the ring." It takes massive investment, dedication, planning, and during fierce competition, never backing down. In 2005, Glow invested in the world's only privately owned undersea data cable, then connected this to its extensive fiber optic network throughout Nigeria, which seamlessly delivers flexible and affordable data plans for everyone, making Glow Nigeria's largest data network in new subscriptions. You see, it's not what you step into the ring with that makes you the master. It's everything you did to get you there. Enjoy our new data overload. Double your data on every plan, like 6 gigabytes for 2,000 naira, 12 gigabytes for 3,000 naira, and 24 gigabytes for 5,000 naira. Dial *777# to select a plan. The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
Everyday air. Ordinary air. And then there's TomTom Air. There's air, and then there's TomTom Air. What are you breathing?
Chilling alone isn't such a bad idea, but imagine how much fun you'll have when you call your peeps across all networks for only 11 kobo per second. Or even better, you could turn up the place with 1 gigabyte for just 500 naira to blaze tracks on tracks on tracks with your squad. And that ain't nothing. With 50 naira only for 1.5 gigabyte, you can share the dopest flicks with your day ones. And keep the selfies trending all week long. Still wondering why the flyers keep on fleek on Airtel Smart Drive? Dial *312# to find out.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, wishes to invite top officials of regulatory and service commissions to the 6th National Workshop on Emerging Trends in Human Resource Management in the Public Service, scheduled to hold from 29 to 31st August 2016. Venue, Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON. Conference fee 70,000 naira per participant. Expected delegates are from the Civil Service Commission, Local Government Service Commission, Assembly Service Commission, State Universal Primary Education Boards, State Independent Electoral Commission, etc. For further information, please contact Mr. A. Musa, Director of Studies and Head of Department, Local Government Studies. Telephone 003-718-5286 or 07051 111240.
Back in Abuja and time for business news. Efforts are on to revamp medium, small and micro enterprises in Nigeria to diversify the nation's economy. Towards this goal, Minister of State, Trade and Investment met with relevant stakeholders in the sector. Here's Chazala Mekia with these and closing figures on the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
It's glad to have you join us on this segment. Nigeria has an estimated 17 million medium, small and micro enterprises, constituting an important vehicle for national development. Their strategic importance to integrate a large segment of the populace in productive economic activities gave rise to this parley put together by the Ministry of Trade and Investment with heads of relevant agencies deliberating on the need to give attention to this all-important sector to diversify the economy. They agreed that to link up with global value chain and attract foreign direct investment, timelines must be set, hence the need for rapid policy framework to reposition the sector.
We'll probably have a look at the review of the MSME policy framework. We'll look at the NEDEP. We'll look at the various plans that respective parastatals have. We're also going to look at what the ministry has in terms of policy review, and then we'll agree on which way to go forward.
SME, as you know, is a major job creator and is a major source of wealth, and we need to do much as a country, and that is what the ministry is doing at the moment.
The meeting also came up with new strategies, such as the use of information technology platform to reduce the number of human interface, which has often been a problem. And a quick look at closing figures on the equities markets. That's the package at this time. I am Chiazala Mekie. Network News continues. Please stay with us.
Up next is Global Tidbits, Sports, and a look at Wednesday's weather prospects. Don't go away.
Relocation of flood victims is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live, as experts deliberate on best ways and means. NTA Tuesday Live, informative, educative, and incisive. Don't be told.
Fighting insurgency and restoration of peace and normalcy in Boko Haram-torn northeastern Nigeria was one campaign promise the Buhari administration delivered within its first year in office. How did the Nigerian military under the Operation Lafia Dole raise the low morale of its troops to execute counter-terrorism and insurgency war, winning the hearts and minds of host communities while upholding the rules of engagement? Watch details of the success story of Operation Lafia Dole on NTA Network Service, Wednesday 2:30 to 3 p.m., Thursday 6:30 to 7 p.m., Saturday 10:05 to 10:30 p.m. this week.
Even on those nights, my worries are now out of sight. So in the morning light, I always wake up bright. New Always Ultra's Booster Gel absorbs up to 3 times more. So no matter my flow, I'm protected from stains all night. Now I wake up bright and worry-free, spreading my joy and energy. With you always, good nights and better days. Stay happy always.
Hey, I just had a shower, but why do I still feel so hot and sweaty?
Let me finish this and I will show you something surprising. Let's take a look. See? Heat means sweat. Sweat brings germs. Dettol 100 times cool. It removes germs to leave you feeling clean, fresh, and 100 times cool. Beat the heat and germs with Dettol 100 times cool.
Dettol, endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Chimdema Ndubisi has the global tidbits.
Zambia's constitutional court of recently held presidential election votes has adjourned to Wednesday. To this effect, Tuesday's proposed inauguration of the president-elect was postponed, as the constitution clearly states that any inauguration has to be delayed until judgment is delivered on any electoral matter. In the meantime, former South Sudan's Vice President Riek Machar is in Sudan. The Sudanese authority says he is in the country for urgent medical treatment. In another development, 18 people, including the owner and former engineer of collapsed Rana Plaza in Bangladesh, are on trial. 130 witnesses are testifying that 3 more stories were added to the 6th-floor structure. The collapse, which ranks as the worst industrial accidents in the country, claimed the lives of about 1,130 people, mostly garment workers. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
We apologize for that slight glitch in the picture at the beginning of the report. Ayodiji Makinde has the sport update.
Enyimba rounded off their 2016